I find myself very inclined to give a rant today, and after a quick search of the internet, I've found that in 2017, to give a rant, you must be sitting in the front seat of your parked vehicle, which is where you find me. I want to rant about the people that talk about the greatest day of my life was when I cut up my credit card. I'm so free. It's such a great way to live. You're an idiot. Credit cards give you free money to use them. Absolutely free. If you do not have the self-control to not spend what's over your bank account, then you probably do not have the self-control to make it to the bathroom on a regular basis. So grab all that wadded up cash in your pocket because you don't have a credit card, march your butt down to Walmart and buy yourself a bag full or a case of adult diapers to help yourself out. You feel like walking around with a credit card is like having a pit viper in your wallet. It ain't. It gives you free money. You know what I did this morning? I woke up, put my hat on, I brushed my teeth, put some extra deodorant on because I don't want to take a shower yet, and I went to Home Depot. In Home Depot, you know what I did? I bought myself about a half-ton worth of merchandise because real men measure their merchandise in weight and not money. Regardless, I filled my family truck, aka a 2013 Toyota Sienna, full of all of this. You know what that is? There's no such thing as a free lunch, but there is such thing as a free patio table around which I will assemble my family to enjoy a nice Memorial Day weekend barbecue with filet mignon. It was also purchased with points on my credit card. Absolutely free. There is a better way to live, people. Use your daggum credit card and use your points. Or don't. Don't matter to me. I'll go around with my free boatload of merchandise. Yeehaw, happy Memorial Day. All right, another legit rant coming. You know it's coming because I'm sitting in the front seat of my car. In 2017, that's what we do. Now, this rant comes after I drove by a hospital. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why ambulance is spelled backwards on the front of an ambulance. Now, I know what you're saying. 85% of you were going, now, Mike, I'm surprised you didn't know that. It's spelled backwards because ambulance can be read forwards in the rearview mirror. Oh, no kidding. Now, can you supply me one scenario in which that is useful? Because the way I see it, I only need one of the following identifying markers to understand that that vehicle is in fact an ambulance. Number one, the unique design and shape of said ambulance. Number two, the unique paint job on the ambulance. Number three, the velocity that is approaching my rear end. Number four, the 130 decibel siren blaring in my ears that even a 2-year-old could use to identify that that's an ambulance, mixed up jumbled letters aside. Number five, the flashing sirens behind me. Number six, it's driven by a dadgum paramedic. Number seven, it's got another paramedic in the dadgum shotgun. I cannot see myself going, Sanamla, coming. Dadgummit, I'm just going to stay here. It's not going to happen. I hope and pray that American tax dollars were not ever used to round up the nation's supply of ambulances and mix up those dadgum letters. Now, can we please pay our first responders a bit more dignity and not have them drive around in a vehicle that looks like it was decaled by some drunken dyslexic? All right. Legit ran over. I can now get out of my car because I'm actually sitting outside in front of my house. Hello, Mike Thayer here, feeling a rant coming on. I cannot, for the life of me, understand why women ages 20 to 45 get Botox in their face. We can tell. We can tell. What is the end goal here? Is it to look more paralyzed or is it to look younger? Because one of them is happening and one of them ain't. Now, if your goal is to turn the clock back several decades, I will admit that 18-year-olds do not have crow's feet near the eyes. What they do have is control their facial muscles from the lip up. And why is it when you put botulism in your face, I've got to enter into this weird social contract that when I talk to you, I can't stare at your weird mini-stroke face, and I'm supposed to act like what you did wasn't just the aesthetic equivalent of taking spinach and jamming it in your friggin' teeth. And don't even get me started on fillers. Does this make me look good? No, it makes you look like you need about a big gulp's worth of Benadryl, extra strength. That's what it makes you look like. Now, apologize for speaking my mind, but I think it's on plenty of other people's mind. They just ain't telling you. We can all tell. Howdy here, Mike Thayer with another legit rant coming on. I cannot for the life of me understand why anybody would include raisins in cookies. Who do you think you're pleasantly surprising when folks find out that that little dark spot on their cookie ain't a piece of chocolate? It is in fact a piece of dried up old fruit. Now, I make one exception for including raisins in cookies, and that exception is for nostalgic purposes. if you were born in the Great Depression and your only choice to change up the consistency of your cookie dough was to put a piece of old dried up grape. Now, chocolate chips can be obtained in abundance at your local grocery store and in affordable bulk quantities at your local Costco. In fact, if you need chocolate chips that bad, knock on my front door. I will give you a cup gratis. Please, for the love of all that is good and holy, stop putting raisins in our friggin' cookies. Thank you.
Howdy there, Mike there. Now, I just finished a November at work that borders on indentured servitude, so I'm behind on my rants. That said, I got one in my back pocket, so here we go. So me and my wife a couple of weeks ago went to go see Thor Ragnarok, and I cannot, for the life of me, understand why a parent would drop off their 3- and 7-year-old kid, from my estimation, to see Thor Ragnarok unsupervised. I'm not your kid's friggin' babysitter. I got Tiny Tim sitting next to me, sucking away on a Slurpee like his life depended on it. I had to tell the dadgum kid to shut up. I wanted to hear Thor Ragnarok. Now look, I got kids of my own, a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old. But I elected to have them stay home while I watch Thor Ragnarok. I'm not your kid's babysitter. And if I was, I would charge $50 an hour. I would teach your kid how to throw a football, supply stern discipline, and actually do the dishes gratis. Just something I throw in there. But I'm not your kid's babysitter. So next time you want to drop them off at the movie theater, how about you keep on going down the road to the adoption agency and give your kid to someone who cares? Takes a village, my foot. Takes a village idiot. Dadgummit. Howdy, Mike there. Got another rant coming on. This one's Mormon specific, so bear with me a little bit here. I cannot for the life of me understand why I gotta look up at that hymn selection any Sunday after Thanksgiving and see anything but hymns 200 to 214. That is 200 to 214, people. How cold, dark, and shriveled is your soul to not want to immediately establish a firm foundation of the Christmas spirit? I drove by a different church of a different denomination. You know what they had on their foyer? A 45-foot tall Christmas tree decked from tip to trunk. You know what we had in our congregation? A rousing chorus of In Our Lovely Deseret. Now, however much I like to be reminded, periodically and in song, to eat but very little meat, now is not the time. You got 47 and a half weeks to meet your yearly quota of how firm a foundation for the 14th time. Now is the time for Silent Night, for Joy to the World. But you didn't hear those hymns last week. You know what you didn't hear last week? My angelic voice being lent to the congregation, because I exercise my God-given American right of silent protest. And I invite you to please join me to do the same as one of my hashtag Silent Nights. If you don't see a Christmas song, you don't sing it in December. Mike out. I cannot for the life of me understand why anybody would include that friggin' elf on the shelf as part of the Christmas tradition. How anybody places that thing on the spectrum of cute to creepy on the cute side of Krampus the Christmas demon is absolutely beyond me. You're creating another reality for your children in which a lifeless, shifty-eyed, howdy-doody-faced doll wakes up at night to run amok through the house while the entire family is helplessly asleep. That being the new reality, that thing is one bad night away from having the family wake up with their hands zip-tied behind their back and plastic bags placed over their head. I would never do that. It's so cute. You know what else is cute? Chucky was until he found a kitchen knife and realized he had a predilection for carving human flesh. If you ever gift me one of those dolls, the first activity that thing's going to do is use the garbage disposal for a massage chair. Oh, but what's the difference between that and Santa Claus? There's a big difference. Santa Claus is a charitable, bearded, omniscient man who lives in the North Pole and who grants blessings to your children for their obedience. That is a nice religious parallel. The only religious parallel I can find for that friggin' elf is the Gadarene swine. Say no to the elf.